morning guys, it's June the 9th. I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group and I'm going to run through what we're looking for in the markets for today's session. So I was a little bit incorrect with Euro. We actually just held up there yesterday. I was expecting the pullback, but we still are at the 127, having not pulled back to the 38, so that kind of does lead to a pullback. The only thing is I'm not really that happy selling it into what happened yesterday. I actually had a breakthrough resistance through 113.75, and that could actually lead now to a push higher. So especially if we manage to confidently close above 114, then I think this market goes higher. However, we probably are at the top, getting towards the top of a range anyway, so I think that Euro could be quite a good sell pretty soon. If we're looking up towards 40 area, 40, 50 area is obviously the prime sell zone if this market is just still in a range. And I think with all the turmoil currently happening, it makes sense for this just to come back off again for the Euro. So on the day we are very, very deep now on the fibs. This will lead to extension back down to 1120. So if we manage to break this, we'll potentially have an outer trend line in here and here. If you make a lower high through the lows, and I think Euro has got at least room down to back down to 112.75 as a first move, so that's sort of 100 and odd pips away, which on a day like Thursday could probably happen. So that's what I'm looking for the Euro. As you can see, that line we had in yesterday didn't actually break, so you wouldn't have got the entry anyway, nor did this counter trend line. So again, you could use these once more and then be looking for these to break to be then looking to be short. The 21 seems to be holding quite nicely, so have a look at that one as well on the 60-minute chart. But if you go through there, I think certainly the Euro will come off, and you could be looking back down towards 112.75 as a T1. Cable, well, rejection from a good level of resistance I had yesterday, so we could now see this come off once more again. So it looks like just the favour maybe is swinging in dollar's favour currently. If we just load the 60-minute chart, see what that one's saying. So the 60 minutes saying, okay, it's had one go, the second go. So now okay, so this is just the third time. We're now back in the buy zone equivalent for this market. I'm actually not sure where this is going at all. I think my cable view would actually be neutral, and I'd probably leave it alone. I think this is the chop that's going to only get worse leading up to the referendum. So in the meantime, I don't think that, you don't need to try and be a hero and catch big moves in cable when the polls come out. Just leave it alone. It seems to be certainly not sure which direction it wants to go in, because I can't actually tell a lot from that chart whatsoever on the 60 minutes. So just be wary of that one. Dollar yen, if this one's a bit more clear. Yeah, dollar yen we kind of said would potentially sell off yesterday after the candle that we had, and we did sell off, but not quite as powerfully as we expected. Didn't quite manage to go through the lows. We just did fail at them. So we need that move back through sort of 106.35 to really trigger that stops taken out, and then we move out to 105.30. Now I do still think this is going to happen. Nothing off yesterday's bar tells me this is going to rally, and I do think that all we're looking for is that pullback potentially to just good zones to be looking to get short again. So this custom moving average I had in was working well, the 34, so potentially look back to 106.90, which lines nicely up with a sub D fib target that I've got on the 15 as well. So a couple of things lining up with that. And 106.20 is the first target, obviously, and then you've got to get through that level to push through, and then maybe hit 105.30. So this will be the second and third time we're actually having a crack at this level. So if it doesn't go now, then potentially we do see that rally, but I do think it goes through the lows. It looks heavy, and I do like dollar yen potentially through these lows. Dollar CAD. Let's look at that one. Okay, so dollar CAD back to the 618 on the day. We are just holding, and I think this one is quite nice for a rally. Certainly if you get the inner trend line start to break, all the moving averages start to turn under it, and we could actually see this rally today. Yesterday's candle was bearish, but not overly bearish, and we could now see a rally as a consequence. And I'm going to look for firstly a trend line break, potentially the MAs to start to turn underneath. We reject. We close through this 21. Looks like it's been holding nicely on the hour. Pull back into it, and then I think that's a really good buy, and you might get a bit of an impulse move in dollar CAD back up towards the highs, and I do really like that as a trade. So potentially back, the first target is going to be back towards 120.2850, and I think that's quite a good target. Got a good level of resistance up at 128.40, so just be wary of that one as well. The Aussie again, it just seems to be quite relentless at the moment in terms of that push up. We rack up at the 127 again without a pullback, but this is the dangerous sell up here really still. Because Aussie I've not really got any reason to sell the Aussie, because it just seems to want to keep going. So be wary that it is at the 127. We have reached a good daily level up at 75, which is probably the main key level that we were looking for. We have since rejected off that. So 75 being a key level, I think we'll potentially come back here. We could actually go and test the 38 down at 74 now. So this trend line obviously is broken, so just move this one out a little bit. So you put these out. What we could actually do is have another one that looked like this, and then So that the inner one is broken, and now you could potentially see that first lower high retest of the broken trend line and then come off. I think Aussie down to 74 is pretty much straightforward if you do get that turn in the dollar today. All the moving averages on the day have crossed back over, and they're clustering around 74 as well, so that could just be a pullback into those before another move higher. So it looks like Aussie potentially could come off today. Kiwi has had an outrageous day today already. Obviously the RBNZ was people, they'd built in a cut. Potentially 50% were saying that they could actually cut yesterday, but they didn't. Kiwi's just gone through the roof, so Aussie Kiwi will have got absolutely thumped as well. And we finally did hit a D, and we're just kind of consolidating up at a good level of resistance at 71.40. So this one for me is difficult to play today. You either just play the straight continuation move on a pullback, or you just don't, and you wait it, wait for it to either consolidate today and then play it tomorrow, or potentially play Kiwi strength against something else when it pulls back. So obviously good news from the Kiwi. I'll look at what that was about, but certainly that was a very, very bullish statement, whatever RBNZ said. So we are now at a D as well, so the 38's back down towards 69.70, which could then lead to a push higher if you manage to get down there. But certainly at the moment, I'd be leaving this market alone because it's very, very aggressive, and we are smashed straight through those highs as well. So that's the outlook for the Kiwi. I'd stay away from that one. So I think that probably the best opportunities at the moment are lying with potentially a euro pulls back today. You get maybe a bit more yen strength, so maybe euro yen's a good short, and then I'm looking at Aussie and potentially dollar CAD to start to turn, so they could be pretty weak as well. So yen's the only one for me that looks like we could continue in terms of its strength. Other than that, I think that potentially all the others kind of falter with dollar strength. So that's what I'm looking for today, guys. I hope that's been useful. As I said, click subscribe to never miss a video again. I'll be back tomorrow with another market update, and happy trading. Thanks very much for listening.